Well, right now we're going to step back in time just a little bit.
Yeah, Henry Tenenbaum is out at the Dickens Fair, an annual event for Henry. Good morning, kind sir.
Good morning, Sir Rob. Nice to see you, sir. The Victorian era was such a set of contrasts. It was a time of real elegance, but it was also a time of real poverty and of decadence. And Dickens wrote of it so lovingly in A Christmas Carol. And what he wrote about was about the horrors of the era, but also about the possibility of redemption. But of course, as you know, the Victorian era, the era of Dickens, that was such a long, long time ago, long past.
Why, Christmas is happening at this very moment.
It's happening, in fact, right now. So here at the Dickens Fair, every year, they transform the Cow Palace into 19th century London. Father Christmas, talk to us a little bit about how the Victorians celebrated the holiday.
Well, this is a time for delight, with all these lovely shops filled with fine trinkets and gifts for the holidays. Of course, special foods are fashioned, and everywhere there's a song and a spirit and a dance and a greeting on every lip. Happy Christmas there.
It's really quite remarkable in the way that they changed this entire environment to create the 19th century again. And along with the beauty, there are also the warts. And there's Scrooge. Come on over here, Scrooge. Scrooge, come on over here. So, a happy Christmas to you, sir.
I'm back to you and your happy Christmas. I don't celebrate Christmas. Why should I? It's a day when people should be working.
Okay, so listen, we have to go. Thank you very much, Mr. Scrooge. Thank you, Father Christmas. We're going to have lots more from the great Dickens Christmas Fair coming up here.
Oh, Henry, you do it every year.
I want to go.
Great power. That's fantastic. Thank you, Henry.
So, you come here often? Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry. Yeah, so welcome back, KRON 4 News Weekend. We're at the great Dickens Christmas Fair, which is at the Cow Palace. And of course, some people have forgotten, but actually Charles Dickens was a real person. And one of the things they've done is to beautifully recreate the Dickens home, Tavistock House in London. And not only have they recreated his home, but they've actually recreated Charles Dickens himself. Mr. Dickens, if you don't mind, do you mind my coming in here?
Not at all.
Okay, well, I brought some visitors with us, if that's okay.
Sure you did.
So,
welcome to Tavistock House.
Mr. Dickens, is this your family? Is it?
It is indeed. My family's gathered for a wonderful Christmas Eve celebration.
Could you introduce
May
me?
I introduce my two daughters? My oldest daughter, Mamie.
How do you do?
Henry Tenenbaum.
Nice to meet you.
And my daughter, Katie, Henry.
Katie. Very nice to meet you. But, Mr. Dickens, it occurs to me that you actually have thousands of offspring. If you think about all the characters that you've created.
They really are my children, you're quite right.
And I'm wondering if perhaps we can meet some of them. There's a bookstore next door.
Well, come, let's go. I'd be happy to.
Let's take a look. It's wonderful timing to have a bookstore right next door to your house. And I must say that can't be entirely by coincidence. Now, among the people that you created, I suppose that these would be, let's see, this would be A Christmas Carol. These would be two of the most famous, yes?
Yes, indeed. A Christmas Carol is probably the most famous of all of them.
And the characters that you've created?
I would like to introduce you to a very well-known fellow, Mr. Ebenezer Scrooge.
I believe we met briefly earlier.
We did.
And I'm assuming that your mood has improved since then.
Not much, sir, unless everyone pays me on time.
Well, we will be paying you as much as we pay everybody else on this show. Thank you.
And Henry, his clerk. Bob Cratchit.
Bob Cratchit, how nice to meet you.
Happy Christmas to you, sir.
And a happy Christmas to you. How well off are you now? Do you have enough for a turkey, for a Christmas turkey?
Not so much for a turkey, sir, but a nice goose.
Oh, well, we always like a nice goose on Christmas.
Yeah.
Thank you. And then these gentlemen over here, let's see, who are these people? The Pickwick people.
Indeed. And standing right in front of you is Mr. Samuel Pickwick himself.
Mr. Pickwick, how are you? And so how are you celebrating the holiday?
We're traveling about London, seeing how everyone celebrates, from the high to the low.
And how do they celebrate?
Well, the high have great, wonderful parties, and the low stand outside and watch them.
And you gentlemen, you're his drinking companions?
We're traveling companions.
Well, is it traveling or drinking?
Well, we're combining right now. Yes.
And how are you finding the holidays?
I'm finding it everywhere, up and down the streets, people singing, laughing, dancing going on all over the place.
When I said how, I didn't mean like how are you finding it. I meant how are you finding it. But never mind that. Well, happy Christmas to you.
Happy Christmas, sir.
And by the way, I've got to explain. These people, are they really? Are these the real people, or are these like actors and?
Oh, these are all the real people. They're as real as all the rest of us. We're all characters in this world, you know?
Well, that's a good point. Some of us are more characters than others. And let's see, this would be, David Copperfield.
And David Copperfield himself, Mr. Henry Tannenbaum.
Oh, it's a pleasure to meet you, sir.
How do you do, and how are you celebrating these holidays?
Oh, I'm very happy to be here in London. Actually, my Aunt Betsy Trotwood is here, and dear Agnes is coming over for a visit as well. We're all looking very, very much forward to having a good Christmas goose together.
Yes, everybody's enjoying those Christmas geese. Well, thank you all very much, gentlemen. Continue to please, happy Christmas, to enjoy those books you're reading. They're excellent, by the way. I've read all of them, and you know, the man is actually a pretty good writer. So as we stroll around in Dickens' London, actually, it's more than just the Dickens novels. There are all kinds of characters that you're likely to discover here. Elementary?
Quite.
Yes, quite elementary. That would be the tale of Peter Rabbit. Oh, well, that's a mystery if I've ever seen one. So, Mr. Dickens, thank you very much for sharing some of your characters with us and some of London with us.
My pleasure.
And as you can see, the Dickens Fair is a place of tremendous activity. You're welcome to actually enjoy it by putting on a costume yourself. You'd be amazed at how many folks show up in costume to enjoy the environment, to enjoy the beautiful ambiance, and of course to enjoy the occasional libation. So if you'll tell folks a little bit about the event, I'm going to get back to where I was. So excuse me, what were we
stay away
talking
from that
about?
Scrooge character, Henry.
Excuse me just a
Tiny
moment.
Tim?
I have to talk to Tiny Tim. Actually, you know, Tiny Tim had to take the morning off because he's getting a new crutch fitted. But at least he's getting a new crutch.
Well, Sir Henry, thank you. We'll check in with Henry back in London as we continue this morning. The Great Dickens Fair, we should tell you, runs through December 18th at the Cow Palace. Hours are 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. For more information, log on to www.dickensfair.com or KRON4.com, or you can call 800-510-1558.